The distress beacon pulsed weakly through the void, barely registering on the sensors of the salvage vessel Redemption. Annie Volkov, chief mechanic, and the ship's only crew member besides the captain, frowned at the readings scrolling across her terminal. "Massey, you seeing this?" She called toward the bridge. Massey Chen appeared in the doorway, his weathered face creased with concern. As captain of the small salvage operation, he'd seen countless dead ships floating through the outer reaches. But something about this signal made his instincts flare. "That's not a standard SOS," he muttered, leaning over Annie's shoulder. "The frequency. It's old. Really old." Annie's fingers flew across the keyboard, running diagnostics and cross-referencing the signal against every database they had access to. Her eyes widened. "Massey, according to this, that frequency hasn't been used in over 3,000 years. It predates the Galactic Council by at least 2 millennia. The two humans exchanged glances. In a galaxy dominated by ancient species like the Velkari and the Thasians, humanity was still considered the new kids, barely 500 years into interstellar travel. Most salvage was routine: abandoned mining rigs, derelict cargo haulers, the occasional smuggler vessel. But this was different. Plot an intercept course, Massey decided. Let's see what we've got. 2 hours later, the Redemption pulled alongside a vessel that defied comprehension. It was massive, easily 3 times the size of the largest human battlecruiser, and its design was unlike anything in current galactic architecture. Organic curves merged with geometric precision, and the hull material seemed to shimmer between solid and translucent, as if it couldn't decide which state of matter it preferred. "She's beautiful," Annie whispered, pressing her hand against the viewport. "And she's dying." Massey saw it too. The ship's exterior was cracked in places, leaking a faint luminescent gas. Parts of the hull flickered with residual energy, like neurons firing in a fading brain. Whatever kept this ancient vessel alive was running on its last reserves. "I'm suiting up," Annie announced, already heading toward the airlock. "We need to board her." "Annie, wait," Massey started, but she was already pulling on her EVA suit with practiced efficiency. "Massey, that ship is alive. Not just functional alive. And if we don't help her now, we'll lose whatever secret she's carrying." Annie's brown eyes blazed with determination. "Besides, when have we ever played it safe?" Massey sighed, grabbing his own suit. "Never. That's why we're still broke." The airlock on the ancient Starship opened with surprising ease, as if welcoming them. The interior was illuminated by bioluminescent strips running along the walls, pulsing in rhythm like a heartbeat, slow, labored, but persistent. Annie ran her scanner over the nearest wall. "The ship is biomechanical. The hull, the systems, everything is integrated with what appears to be living tissue. I've never seen technology like this. Can you fix it?" Massey asked, ever practical. Annie moved deeper into the corridor, following the luminescent strips toward what she hoped was the engineering section. "I don't know, but I have to try." They found the ship's core in a vast chamber that reminded Annie of a cathedral. A massive crystalline structure pulsed at the center, connected to thousands of veins that spread throughout the ship like a neural network. The crystal was cracked, its light dimming with each pulse. "That's the heart," Annie said softly. "The ship's consciousness is housed there." As she approached, the crystal flared suddenly, and a voice filled their minds, not heard through their ears, but felt deep in their consciousness. "Human. You came." Massey nearly stumbled backward, but Annie stood firm. "Yes, we received your distress call. Can you tell us what happened?" Images flooded their minds. A civilization of shipbuilders, the architects, who had created vessels like this one to explore and protect the galaxy. A great war, betrayal, the architects' extinction. Their ships scattered and hunted by those who feared their power. The ship ethers had been fleeing for millennia, hiding in dark space, slowly dying from wounds sustained in a battle fought before humanity had even discovered fire. "I can help you," Annie said, examining the crystal more closely. Her mechanical intuition, honed by years of coaxing life from failing systems, told her what needed to be done. The crystal wasn't just cracked, it was starved. The ship had been routing all remaining power to maintain the distress beacon. Hoping someone would find her before total system failure, she turned to Massey. "I need to interface our power cells directly into her core." It's risky, we might lose all our power and be stranded here. But it might give her enough juice to initiate self-repair. Massey didn't hesitate. Do it. For the next 4 hours, Annie worked with a focus that bordered on obsession. She bypassed safety protocols, jerry-rigged connections that would make any certified engineer weep, and created an interface between human technology and ancient biomechanical systems. That shouldn't have been compatible. When she finally activated the connection, the Redemption's power cells began draining rapidly. The crystal pulsed brighter, brighter. The cracks began to seal, the luminescence spreading through the ship's veins like blood returning to starved tissue. You saved me. Human mechanic. The voice was stronger now. The ship's systems hummed to life, self-repair protocols engaging across every section. Within minutes, the ancient vessel was transforming, wounds healing, systems rebooting. For 3,000 years, I called into the darkness. Hundreds of species heard me. All feared what I represented, what knowledge I carried. Only humans, only you, answered with compassion instead of fear. The crystal flared brilliantly, and suddenly Annie and Massey were flooded with information, star charts to hidden worlds, technologies that could revolutionize galactic civilization, the true history of the galaxy before the Council's rise to power, and the location of other surviving architect ships still hiding in the darkness. I gift you this knowledge, Annie Volkov and Massey Chen, not because you seek power, but because you sought to save a dying stranger. This is the legacy of the architects, knowledge shared freely, life preserved universally. Humanity understands this. Perhaps they are the true inheritors of our purpose. As the Redemption's power cells hit critical levels, Aetheris severed the connection and transferred a portion of her own restored energy back, recharging their ship completely. Thank you, Annie whispered. No, human mechanic. Thank you. I have been alone for so long. You reminded me why the architects built us, not for war, but for connection. I will remain here, broadcasting on frequencies your people can hear. When humanity is ready, I will teach them everything. Back aboard the Redemption, Annie and Massey stared at each other in stunned silence. As their computers processed the overwhelming data dump, they were no longer just salvage operators. They were now the bearers of secrets that could reshape galactic civilization. So, Massey finally said, a grin spreading across his face, "Still think we should have played it safe?" Annie laughed, exhausted and exhilarated. "Never. Where's the fun in that?" As they set course for the nearest human outpost, the ancient starship Aetheris glowed brilliantly in the darkness behind them, a beacon of hope rekindled by the most unlikely of saviors, to humans with nothing but courage, compassion, and one very talented mechanic who refused to let anything die on her watch. The galaxy would never be the same.